Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Maisy Mok. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Operator of the Fukushima power plant says that water quality remains satisfactory one day after wastewater discharge. Government comes under fire after telling a restaurant that a mural may violate the national security law, even though it was created many years ago. And Donald Trump becomes the first former U.S. president to take a mugshot. Japanese authorities are doing everything they can to assure the public that it is safe to discharge radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear plant. It would conduct testing on fish and water in Fukushima frequently, and the analysis could be completed in just a day at the earliest. Janice Low reports.
With the flick of a switch, the water pump was activated at the Fukushima nuclear power plant and the discharge of radioactive water was underway. The contentious scheme, which began at around 1 p.m. local time yesterday, involves sending treated wastewater stored in giant tanks to a downstream pool in just 10 minutes. It is then diluted with seawater before being discharged through an underwater tunnel which runs 1 kilometer from the coast. Tokyo Electric Power Company, which operates the Shenzhen plant, confirmed this afternoon there were no significant changes to the water quality nearby. It said the concentration of tritium is within the safe range of 1,500 becquerels per liter or less. Responding to the backlash, the Japanese Environment Ministry has collected seawater samples from 11 locations today, including one which is 40 kilometers away from the discharge site. The samples will be tested for radioactive substances, with the results to be announced on Sunday. Environment officials said they hope to put an end to rumors with a monitoring scheme that is highly objective, transparent, and reliable. Analyses would be conducted once per week. The Fisheries Agency also sent a batch of fish caught off the coast of Fukushima this morning for lab tests, including possible tritium contamination. Results would be out as soon as tomorrow morning. The International Atomic Energy Agency, which gave the green light last month to Tokyo to release radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean, is now providing real-time monitoring data. 6 monitoring devices have been set up at the plant to check for the water's flow rate and radiation count. So far, none of the indicators reported abnormalities. Janice Low, HKIBC.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has turned himself into a county jail in Atlanta after he was charged with conspiring to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Trump insists he is innocent and is using his mugshot to fuel his upcoming election campaign. Raymond Yang reports.
Journalists on the ground said the rumble from the motorcade was so loud it could be heard from a few blocks away. More than a dozen police motorcycles escorted multiple black SUVs through streets that were sealed off an hour in advance. News helicopters were whirring above, and the scenes were broadcast live on national television. That was Donald Trump's grand arrival, except he was heading to Fulton County Jail in the U.S. state of Georgia. The former U.S. president and 18 others were accused of conspiring to overturn the results of the 2020 elections in the state. They had until Friday noon local time to turn themselves in. While the case is the fourth brought against Trump this year, this was the first time that he was booked at a jail. In another first, the 77-year-old became the first former president to have a mugshot taken. After leaving his fingerprints and completing paperwork, Trump left the facility by posting bond of $200,000. The whole process took just 20 minutes. His motorcade headed straight to Atlanta Airport, where his private jet awaited. The billionaire businessman insisted the charges were politically motivated.
This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong, and everybody knows it.
Posting on X, formerly known as Twitter, for the first time in 2.5 years, Trump later published his own mugshot with the captions, "Election interference" and "Never surrender." The publicity bliss will provide fresh impetus for Trump, who remains the Republican frontrunner for the presidential race, even he was absent from a televised debate on Fox News earlier this week. Raymond Yang, HKIBC.
Back in Hong Kong, Cathay Pacific said that it has received over 2,000 applications in a recruitment drive in Shenzhen for cabin crew positions. The applicants were given on-site interviews this afternoon in Qianhai, a commercial district in western Shenzhen. Competition was stiff, as up to 10 applicants may have to fight for one vacancy. Cathay said it was planning to hire 200 to 300 mainland staff. Around 600 people passed the first round of screening, which included Mandarin and English language tests. The airline said that the recruitment requirements are in line with Hong Kong standards. So are the benefits, with the basic salary and subsidies reaching up to 20,000 Hong Kong dollars. For the first time ever, police have uncovered a crime syndicate using artificial intelligence to fool banks and mortgage firms. Meanwhile, over 400 people have been arrested this month on suspicion of money laundering and other offenses. In a citywide operation against money laundering this month, police arrested 458 people for handling suspected crime proceeds totaling $470 million. The suspects, involving over 300 cases, obtained the illegal proceeds through a variety of scams.
損失最高金額嘅案件呢，係一宗涉及32名受害人嘅投資騙案嚟嘅。
Chief Inspector Fan Wai Ho of the Financial Intelligence and Investigation Bureau said in one case, 32 victims fell prey to an investment scam. The victims received phone calls from a fraudster claiming to be an investment expert and were duped into coughing up $33 million in total. 8 people have been arrested in connection to that case. Officers also noted that some of the victims came from low-income groups who wanted to make quick money. They were paid between $300 and $1,500 in exchange for accessing their bank accounts, which were then used by criminals to proceed illicit funds. Police warned that bank account holders are equally liable to the crimes, even if they do not engage in the activities themselves. Meanwhile, the Force's Cybersecurity and Technology Crime Bureau has busted a syndicate which utilized artificial intelligence technology to cheat banks and mortgage firms. 4 men and 2 women aged 31 and 50 were arrested, including the group's mastermind. Detectives found that the syndicate used 8 people's identity card information to take out loans. While most of the 90 loan applications were rejected, they succeeded on 4 occasions and obtained $200,000. In one application, fraudsters got past a financial institution's mobile facial verification by using deepfake, an artificial intelligence technology that swapped 2 people's faces in videos. They were able to obtain $70,000 in that case. The syndicate also used stolen personal information to apply for dozens of prepaid SIM cards, which were used to send thousands of deceptive text messages. A restaurant in Shenzhen was forced to erase a popular mural after the government said it could violate the national security law. But Home Affairs Minister Maisy Mok denied cracking down on freedom of expression. Janice Low reports.
Paintings of construction workers enjoying a bowl of noodles probably churned up the appetite of customers at a fast food eatery on Lettuce Street in Central. Hong Kong-based graffiti artist Catherine Grossreader brought the barren wall to life in 2016. But this week, the wall was splashed with grey paint. Speaking on a radio program this morning, the manager of the eatery, surnamed Ho, revealed that representatives from the Central and Western District Office warned him that the graffiti might constitute a breach of the national security law. Ho explained that the artwork was painted before all kinds of social unrest and asked the officials to be more specific, but they would not provide any further explanation. Colleagues eventually persuaded Ho to sign an agreement with the district office to cover up the painting to avoid further trouble. Though disappointed with losing her artwork, Grossreader came to the rescue again with a new creation. This time, a woman dressed in an apron with a chick seems to be serving customers with a bowl of instant noodles with luncheon meat and egg on the side. Ho found out about the new painting when he returned to work the other day and was pleasantly surprised. He appreciated Grossreader's passion for art and expressed his gratitude towards the artist's attachment to the place. Meeting the press this afternoon, Home Affairs Minister Maisy Mok denied forcing the operator to remove the mural, saying they could choose not to act on the government's friendly reminder. She emphasized the case has nothing to do with limiting freedom of creation. Janice Low, HKIBC.
China has unveiled more measures to boost property sales. People will be able to take out mortgages as first-time home buyers in one city, even if they own properties in another. Chloe Fong reports.
In a bid to revive the ailing property sector, which accounts for up to 1/3 of the economy, authorities in Beijing launched another round of measures to boost demand. In a joint statement by the Housing Ministry, the People's Bank of China, and the National Administration of Financial Regulation, people who already took out home mortgages in one city will still be considered as first-time buyers in another. That means, apart from being eligible for a second home loan, prospective buyers will continue to enjoy preferential down payment ratios and interest rate discounts. It is up to local governments to decide if they wish to adopt the policy, according to the statement. The move will likely boost flagging demand, although banks will bear greater financial risks in case homeowners default on payments. The government is also extending an arrangement where home buyers will receive personal income tax rebates if the purchase is made within 12 months of selling their old dwellings. But analysts remain skeptical of the effectiveness of the measures. Some feel that the policies failed to tackle the root of the problems plaguing the property sector. Both investors and ordinary buyers have lost confidence in developers following a spate of defaults and housing projects missing their target delivery dates. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Hong Kong stocks wrapped up the week with losses as sentiment dampened over the possibility of the U.S. Federal Reserve continuing its rate hikes. The Hang Seng Index fell below the 18,000-point mark again after losing 1.4%. One of the largest private energy groups on the mainland, ENN Energy, tanked 16%. Weak demand for gas saw the firm's first-half revenue decline 7.2%. Online game operator NetEase slumped 6.7% after second-quarter revenue missed estimates. Food delivery platform Meituan lost 5.5%, reversing gains of 7.4% yesterday. Investors retreated over fears of stiffer competition and a forecast slowdown in delivery orders. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index ended day down by 255 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Meituan was down $7.80, Tencent was down $5.20, while Tracker Fund was down 25 cents. AIA was down $2, while Kuaishou was down $2.65. On to the weather now. It will be sunny tomorrow with a few showers. Temperatures will range between 28 and 32 degrees. The weather will be very hot next week. That's our main news for Friday night. Join us for more news at 11:30. I'm Maisy Mok. Thanks for watching. Good night.